this is Russ. Yeah, I'm back out on the road again. Well, technically, I'm still in a Costco parking lot, but I will eventually be on the road. There you go. So anyway, I had a opportunity to watch a video yesterday, which was the public hearing talking about e-bikes in my general community. Yeah, I wasn't able to make the meeting, but they actually had it up online. So I said, okay, I'm going to watch the meeting at least to see what was discussed. Let's see, I got to go this way. Not my usual Costco, so not sure which direction I'm heading here. Yeah, so I watched it last night to see what was discussed. And so they took care of some basic business. Maybe the first 14 minutes or so of the meeting. I think the meeting was over an hour and something long. And then they went into e-bikes and scooters. Let me get through here first. Yeah, so they went into e-bikes and scooters. So I think it was the village, I don't know what, chairperson, or I don't know what his title was. He gave a presentation, as well as the police department gave a presentation. And all they really did was they gave a background on why this has become an issue for the village to kind of discuss, that they wanted to keep people safe. And so they were trying to find ways that they can keep everybody safe. And they talked about complaints that were happening from residents complaining about, the e-bikes and the scooters. But it sounded like they were really talking more so about the scooters. Now, here's where confusion comes into play for me. I mean, not too long ago, I'm talking, when was it? July? They passed through something that said they were banning e-scooters. And now they're coming out and talking more about the scooters. So I'm thinking, well, wait a minute. If they banned the scooters, why is it even something to even discuss? Because technically they shouldn't be even riding the scooters. So maybe they unbanned it. I have no idea. It was a little confusing in that regard. So, but let's move forward. So they basically said they were really more concerned with the way kids were riding the e-bikes and the scooters. And so they wanted the police department to get involved with some type of enforcement of the rules and the regulations that they have set forth for the. Let me change this thing over here. It's a little bright and sunny here. That they set forth with the current ordinances and state laws. So the long and short of it is basically this. They're not banning the e-bikes, and it doesn't sound like they're even banning the scooters based on the way they were talking. And what they wanted to do was make it such that Class 1 and Class 2 e-bikes would be only allowed for people who were 16 and over and had a driver's license. And that if you were 18 and over, you don't need the driver's license. But 18 is required for Class 3 operation for e-bikes, okay? So they gave a lot of statistics about, why they feel that they need to do something at this point. And they also talked about the fact that they weren't planning on giving citations if somebody breaks the rules, but more so that the police would become involved in educating the person that was breaking the rule as to why he needs to know about the rules. So I don't know how the police are gonna feel about doing that, because they got a lot of other things to do rather than sitting there educating. And they also mentioned that they were hoping that this education would come from other sources, including e-bike stores and bicycle stores. I don't know if they even want to do it, but really they said, that's something that they should do. So whatever. So then they opened it up to the public, and several people came forward who live in the area, mentioning that one lady, she was the first one after all the presentation and discussions and stuff, and she said that, if you limit certain areas we can and cannot ride, it would make it tough for people her age, because she was in the senior categories, and she and her husband have e-trikes. And they said sometimes we have to ride on the sidewalk, to get from one point to the other. There's certain areas that you have no option. You have to go on the sidewalk, otherwise you're going to be on a major street, to get across to some other area. And if too much regulations were to happen, it would deprive them of their abilities to go out as a senior person and enjoy the outside. And I think a lot of people kind of thought that was actually a good point. What impressed me was that this particular board was not against the e-bikes, and they were not against the e-scooters. They just wanted people to be safer on them, and so that was good. I'm looking at a guy in front of me. He's got a red Velotric step-through bike. I'm trying to figure out which bike he has. It could be the Nomad series, yeah, because I have a Nomad too, as you know. Looks kind of similar. Anyway, he just rode across. He was waiting at the light. So anyway, another person came out and he says that, my son has a scooter, and if you ban the scooters, he's just going to be sitting there watching video games, doing video games and being inside. He won't even be outside. And he says, if you ban these things, I've got like a $1,400 piece of junk in my garage. He had a good point too. And they understood that. Yeah. Another guy came out and he was talking about that he rode motorcycles and other things too. And he was talking about helmets, and I don't know what his point was, quite frankly. But the public did come out, and the committee actually listened to what everyone had to say, and they actually wanted to amend or modify, I should say. They wanted to modify what they were planning to do today. And so what they decided to do, based on what the public had brought up, they thought it was a very good point. Especially, they said some of the people need e-bikes to get from point A to point B. Maybe they don't have a license. And someone pointed out that some of the kids now don't even get licenses because they rely on e-bikes or e-scooters to get around, or public transportation. So if they don't have a license, they can't ride their bike. So they said, yeah, that doesn't seem to be fair either. So I think what they're going to do is they made it such that people not having to be 16 years old and a driver's license, that if you're 15 years old, you could ride an e-bike if you have a learner's permit. Okay, that's fine, because they said that they are going through some type of education of rules of the road as they try to get their driver's license. And then between, I guess, that age and 18, you need to have a driver's license or something. But then they said people over 18, which they wanted for class 3 operation. Class 1 and 2, they said, you'll need the driver's license thing and 20 miles an hour. Class 3 being 28 miles an hour, you need to be 18 years old to ride a class 3 bike. But they also said that maybe what they'll do instead is, if you're 18 and over, you don't need the driver's license, but need some type of proof that you know the rules of the road. So they seem to be willing to change their own rulings a little bit. They did say that they will try to revisit this in 2 weeks, so they can try to gather some more thought, because they don't like particularly to change things on the spot like that without thinking through more. But they all felt that it was good points that the public had brought up. So that's kind of nice, right? So I think, at least in my area, they haven't banned the e-bikes, right? Maybe not even banned the e-scooters now, even though they said that they did. I mean, but the way they were talking, it sounds like they're still allowing the e-scooters to happen. But they were more about regulating the kids riding. Yeah, they were afraid of what the kids might end up doing on these devices, and it's just an accident waiting to happen. So I kind of agree with them that they do need to have some type of thing for the kids to have a better understanding of the rules of the road. I've been saying that for a long, long time. So and I appreciate the fact that they didn't ban us, right? they did ban us from certain areas, and they also put speed regulations about. Yeah, I guess it's okay for me to turn now. 12 miles an hour on certain trails, but then in the same breath, they also have a thing that says that you're not allowed on the trails. So it's a little confusing. Is it 12 miles an hour or is it no e-bikes on bike paths? I mean, it's a little unclear. I think we have to just wait until they finally publish something that actually states what they're really going to do. So, but at least it wasn't totally negative. Yeah, I mean, I've been saying all along, I mean, I don't like the fact that you're going to, put me down to 20 miles per hour, but I'd rather be at 20 miles an hour and able to ride than not able to ride at all. Right? They also were talking to, again, defining that the e-bike should be 750 watts, that they do have workable pedals. They were also mentioning some of the bikes are modified and that you're not allowed to modify your bike past 750 watts. And so certain bikes may not be allowed on the streets even. So that of course, brought up something to me, as you know, something like the wired e-bike, although technically not modified, but changed within the parameters of the bike, can go 40 miles an hour. The whole point is you can't ride 40 miles an hour, is what they're basically saying, okay? But the question is whether they would stop me because my motor is past 750 watts once I open it up, right? But it really felt like they were saying that the police really don't want to sit there and just give citations out to people. So, I mean, if you're riding safely, they probably won't even stop you, is basically what it kind of felt like they were saying. It's just the guys who are really kind of standing out because they're riding unsafely. I mean, if I was to ride my wired bike down the street, but I was going 20 miles an hour or something, would they stop me and look at my motor? And the answer probably would be no. They don't have the time, and they were kind of saying the same thing as the police themselves have to be educated as to what their function will be with e-bikes. That their function really is not to hand out citations. Is their function is to educate the public that, hey, you're riding unsafely and things like that. So I don't think I have too much to fear, even if I were riding my wired bike. But if you go by, the definitions of the things they were saying, it would basically sound like you can't ride your wired bike. So I don't really know how it would be. Now, the weird part for my situation is that I do know a number of the police officers in my general area, not by name or whatever, but I know that they know me, and I know that I know them because I've seen them so many times and they've seen me so many times. Would they stop me? I don't think they would. At least for me, I don't think they would, because I'm pretty noticeable. I mean, I'm out there all the time. They see me out there all the time. I wave to them all the time. Now, other people, they might. You don't know. They don't know who you are. They don't know if you're safe or not. But they know I'm safe. They see me, right? They see me all the time. I'm riding with a big yellow vest on. I have a helmet that blinks with the light, right? My Ex-Nito helmet blinks in front and back. Well, if the front is stationary, the back blinks. I stick my hand out when I'm making a turn. The only thing I don't do really is to stop at the stop signs. I think I have to be more conscious that I have to at least slow down to more of a crawl than the speeds that I typically have passed through stop signs with. So I'll make that effort. But I think overall, they're really just more interested in safety than they are in giving people tickets. That's really what they were trying to say. So, anyways, I just wanted to bring up some of the points that these guys had discussed, on the issue of e-bikes in my general area. So, anyway, I'll put in the description the link to that video if you want to see it. This is the ones in my general area, and just skip through 14 minutes, okay? Just skip the first 14 minutes. It has nothing to do with e-bikes. But if you want to see what our our committees have basically talked about. Jump forward 14 minutes and watch it. It's pretty long. It's probably a good hour if you want to see the whole thing. But I watched the whole thing. And I thought it was interesting to see because I was waiting to see, is there anything these guys are going to say that's going to be really a big negative? And it wasn't really, other than the fact that they just wanted to say, you know, stay within the law of the 20 miles per hour, stay within 28 miles per hour. I don't know where you can ride 28 miles per hour on, because we're really not technically allowed to do that unless it's on private property. Nobody has private property big enough to ride an e-bike. Come on, not in this area. If I had a farm, maybe that'd be another story, but I don't. Who has that kind of space, right? So anyways, that's the story. So take a look at it if you like. It'll be in the description of the video. And then hit the like and subscribe button. Let me know your feelings on this type of stuff too. You know, if your area has had similar type regulations go down, I want to know about it. All right. I'll talk to you guys next time. Thanks.